Hey, Jeff.
Howdy.
Did we need to take minutes for this?
Okay, there we go.
Do you know if we need to take minutes for this, or is this something Todd would know?
He might know. I was just going to keep some notes.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't. There wasn't like an official. We didn't have minutes. Any minutes to approve or anything. So I'm happy to just take notes.
How's it going, guys?
All right. I saw you go from the golf course to the boardroom back to the golf course.
Yeah. That's Augusta National, where they play the Masters.
Right.
I thought John wasn't going to make it, so I guess we're just Elizabeth.
Yeah, John and Jamie's going to be here. So
Yeah. I'll volunteer to go ahead and take notes. I don't know. We don't have any minutes to approve or anything like that. So
yeah, not for a subcommittee usually.
Yeah. And I'm assuming it's just us
Yeah.
as far as
I
any.
don't know if Elizabeth is coming or not. So because she was on the email list, so I didn't know if she's.
Yeah.
Your time's valuable if you just want to get started and she can jump in.
Yeah.
I just say we get started. If
Yep.
she's here too late, we can catch her up. But I appreciate everybody making the time, and I just, I guess looking at the agenda, I know if we go down to item 2, I think A, B, and C kind of all work together, and I just wanted to really get Todd's input on how, what the feasibility is, and what steps we need to follow to do this in a way that makes sense if it's possible.
Yeah. Well, the easiest and cheapest is the signage. We can put signs up for share the road and all that. The restriping and doing bike lane markings and that gets a little more involved because you got to have enough room for lane widths and then bike lane widths. And typically you don't want the bike lane right up against the drive lane. You want a little bit of a buffer in between it. So that's what in the plan they put together for Lockwood, since it has 2 wide full lanes. If we eliminate the outside lanes, then we can put a buffer lane, striped buffer lane first, and then the bike lane on the outside.
So, and I think I've mentioned this, and it must, we've talked about this thing for over the years numerous times, and we just kind of spin our wheels a little bit. But so in an ideal world, the model that comes to mind for me is a Y down between Hanley and Forest Park. I don't know if you've driven that at all, but it's and the difference is there's no commercial business. It's residential.
Yeah.
With some I think it goes up against Fontbonne University, but it's 2 lanes in either direction, and they do have a median in the middle. But the way it's laid out is you have your on the left-hand side is the single driving lane, and I don't know the history. I think it might have been 2 lanes. It's certainly wide enough to be 2 lanes in some previous life, but it's single lane traffic on the left, and then they have the bike lane next to that, and then they have a parking/walking lane. And so because it's near Fontbonne and it's residential, and there are some areas where there's no parking allowed, but other areas, there's parking certain hours of the day or certain days of the week based on the university schedule. And what I like about it is it seems to work really well. And I know that the traffic on that road, there's schools there, so it can get busy occasionally, but it's nothing like Lockwood where you have, you're going right to the busy commercial district. But I didn't know if that model worked where you had a bike lane and then you had a parking/walking lane.
Yeah, and the only problem with having a parking lane right up against the bike, or the bike lane right up against the parking lane, is if a car is parked and they open their door as a bike is coming,
Yeah.
that bike's gonna wipe out.
Right, right. And I don't know sort of what, I'm sure there's probably literature about that in terms of transportation planning. I mean, maybe that's just not a good practice,
Yeah.
but is it, my other question is it, how feasible is it to do in some areas, just do some signage, but in other areas, specifically further west, once you get closer to Kirkwood and it's more residential, to do an actual marked lane there, especially because I know like Adams is there's that
Right.
great lane on Adams.
Yeah, like, I was working at Kirkwood when the county did that. It was part of their resurfacing when they were resurfacing that. They said they were going to do away with the one lane and put bike lanes in. I'm like, well, okay.
Yeah, well, that's the other example that I think is
Yeah, right,
nice.
right. And that has parking where the majority of the stretch of Lockwood doesn't have parking until you get up closer to Rock Hill. So, and then when you get to the church, you've got the parking in the median. So
Yeah,
being affecting that. So.
right, right. But in the areas where it is possible, is it just a matter of money, or I mean, we've heard in the past, I think that a possible loss of parking was an issue.
We wouldn't be taking any parking away.
Yeah.
It would just be a complete restripe. We have the equipment to remove the existing striping, which is what you have to do, and then we'd have to remark it out and then restripe it, which we have the equipment to stripe. The only thing we don't have, which is just a matter of us purchasing, is the stencil, the bicycle symbol stencil for the bike lane that you have to have so every so many feet, 500 feet or something. So.
Right.
But that's, I mean, we just buy the stencil and then we have that. So.
I noticed that they're tearing up a good section of Adams right now anyway, right?
Adams or Lockwood?
Or pardon me, Lockwood.
Yeah, Lockwood in Webster and Lockwood, it's an MSD project. Yeah, they're just doing it from I want to say it's from Bellevue to right before the railroad track overpass, and then it goes down that other side street there. That's a new sewer main that they're going to put down. They're putting it in the outside lane, so they're just tearing up that outside lane. When they're done, then they're going to resurface that outside lane, and then we can have them not stripe it at that time, and then we could look at grinding off the rest of the striping. And then the only problem is they're not going to be done till late this fall, and that's going to be the time when you can't do striping. You have to wait till spring, the following spring, to be able to do it.
Yeah, that brings up a good question. What's the time frame for that? Like, are we talking like April through September, or when can you do this and when can you not?
The striping?
Yeah.
It's usually March 15th to November 15th.
Okay. Good chunk of time.
Yeah. And we're in budget cycle right now. We're putting our budgets together for next year because our budget year starts July 1st. So we can add extra material costs for the thermoplastic thermoplastic paint and that stencil.
So what sections of Lockwood beyond that do you see as being feasible to do a lane versus putting up a sign?
I think we could do the whole way from Rock Hill to Berry, and just eliminate the outside lane, the whole stretch. Although as you're coming eastbound, I guess you get the right turn lane, so you'd have to probably there's a way to merge the bike lane with the turn lane, so it's just the way you stripe it.
Okay. And you see that being possible, I guess, maybe
next spring.
Spring, once it's possible to get out there and do that.
Right. Yeah. Because like I said, the MSD project's not going to be done until late this fall, and then we don't want to probably mess with it that late in the year. So probably wait till the spring.
Okay. And then as you move east from Rock Hill Road
into the business district.
Yeah. So do you see signage
Yeah, signage, just share the road signage. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you already have a stencil for those Sharrows, just a little bike one?
Yeah, no.
No, okay.
Yeah, we gotta get that stencils. So those two stencils we need is the bike stencil and then the little, it's like two arrows. Yeah, for that's the share the road symbol. Mhm.
Kind of like you have along there on is it Pacific?
Yeah, yep,
Mm.
yep. That's where they have them.
Yeah.
On Marshall to it.
Yeah. All right. And then when you get, so you don't see a bike lane being feasible any point east of Rock Hill.
It would be tough because I don't know what the lane width is from the center line to the parking lanes
Mhm.
to give you enough for a bike lane in there. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think
I could measure it and figure it out and see if it would be feasible to possibly put one in there but then again, you're gonna be right up against the parking lane. So the bicyclists are gonna have to watch out for cars opening their doors.
right. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking kind of once you get, more in the, university area, it seems fairly wide there, but yeah, you're right. That gets parked up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the university students they always got it blocked up there
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
Bompart and Summit.
Well, it's kind of a moot point watching for the car doors. I mean, you do that anyway right now.
True.
It's maybe more of a sign to the drivers and parkers that this is.
All right. Things to come. I mean, it's happening all over the United States. So
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even as a first step, I see that Rock Hill to Berry Road. That'd be great.
yeah, that would be a good first step for us to get into it. And then we can look at then extending it eastward
Mhm.
towards Big Bend.
Would you foresee any issues when I think of Rock Hill and Barry? A lot of residential, but then you get up to Mary Queen of Peace, and sometimes they have like carnivals or whatever that stuff. A lot of people opposing this sort of thing, or is that really not an issue?
I haven't heard anything like that. And
Yeah. I've
there
just seen
is there
tons
is
of
on street there is on street parking there by Mary Queen of Peace
Yeah.
for that reason when they have overflow that they've already filled up the median parking that they need to have extra parking on along their side. I don't think it's on the other side.
If this did go to council and there was any opposition, that would be the time for the opposition to.
Yeah.
Speak. Um, looking at the, looking at maybe, is there any obvious north-south road like, Bompart and Edgar? I don't know. Edgar seems maybe too narrow.
It's pretty narrow. Yeah.
But connecting to Deer Creek, if you made like Bompart up to Lockwood,
Elm, maybe?
Elm has a lot of traffic. That's the only bad thing.
Yeah. Even when you get the occasional parker on Elm, it just causes havoc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trash truck causes havoc too.
Yeah, unfortunately, all the streets that go straight through are all pretty
Right.
busy.
yeah.
And Bompart's pretty wide.
Yeah.
Visible on Bompart. Plus that then gets you up to Pacific where you've got the
Right.
trail.
Yeah.
up.
Like our this sub goal of trying to create a network. If you
Yeah,
could,
to get them to that trail. Right.
Bompart to Edgar.
Bompart to Marshall. From
Yeah, but then can you get
Lockwood.
Edgar to take you across the highway?
yeah, if you're going south. Mhm.
or at least signage.
Yeah. Yeah, we'd have to share the road on
Yeah,
Edgar. We
it's-
couldn't get a bike lane in there.
It's pretty narrow.
Yeah, it's very narrow. And we've got Edgar's our last road in our mill and overlay project, which is in 2024. I think it's 24 or 25. We'll be resurfacing Edgar from Big Bend to Watson.
Okay. So
So we could put the sharrows in at that time and the signage.
Arrows, that's right. That's the term I was
That's what
looking
it's called, yeah.
Right. Now I know. I'm pretty sure Bompart was resurfaced not that long ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Um, but if you're just adding a stripe,
It's just, right. It's just simple adding striping and or sharrows and signage.
yeah. Okay. I mean, because that would create,
Yeah, we
north and south. That would create sort of at least a corridor.
The
Either-
beginnings of one.
right.
right. Starting to make the network like they have in the plan here.
Right.
You guys can see that. Well, no,
Yeah, we can't really see the plan, but we see the golf course.
the network anyway. Just starting to build the network is what we need to do.
Between you, me, and the fence post, though, the share the road signs are less than worthless. I mean, they're actually.
I mean, I'm not a bicyclist, so I don't know, but I would think so. Yeah.
It's actually just honestly visual clutter. And they don't mean anything for anybody on a bike.
Yeah.
You need the lanes, you need the stripe lanes.
Exactly. I agree. The problem is you just gotta have the width to be able to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And we don't have a lot of those streets that are capable of doing that. I mean, Bompart is wider, so it might be possible that we can put a bike lane in the north-south on Bompart.
And just to be clear, I mean, having a bike lane doesn't preclude anybody from parking there when they have.
Parking on it or driving through it, or yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Right, because you'll still have the parking lane,
Right.
the bike lane just on the outside of the parking lane.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess just because we've talked about it, do you see any potential of a connector to Grants Trail in terms of bike signage or lanes?
I know the Parks Department is working. They're talking with GRG about looking at doing something. From where the trail that we just put in, the Greenway Trail we just put in a couple years ago, connecting that and working its way down to Watson,
Mm-hmm.
down Grant Road.
Okay. So.
Because then the Grants Trail is down on Watson, just past Grant Road.
Right. Okay.
I'm trying to get it down to there to be able to tie it in.
Yeah. All right. I guess the only other thing on our list is the, talking about bike racks and.
Yeah.
I don't know, Patrick. Did you have any thoughts on that? That's an area I don't really have a lot of. I don't know what's out there, I guess.
No, I mean, that's something we looked at a few years ago and have since added a couple. Added the one in front of Racanelli's, the one behind what used to be the Natural Way, whatever that's called now. I'm drawing a blank. We did have trouble trying to find one at was it Crossroads Commercial District?
Mhm.
Couldn't really find any place to put it. There didn't seem to be space.
Right.
And the plan also I remember spoke about, which just also complicates things, is a lack of bike racks around schools. So then, that's another entity so it just seemed like low-hanging fruit and something that would make the, help commercial businesses if people could bike to them and just things like that. So I wasn't sure, where exactly, but just to have the conversation.
I don't know
Yeah.
for sure. Is there one at the library? Does anyone know?
I think so, right out front.
Yeah, I think there's one there. But yeah, I mean, if you guys know of any areas, I mean, we can definitely look at putting them in, just us purchasing them. And we get the ones that are shaped like the bicycle. Those are the ones the city ones that we put in.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, maybe there's some more reconnaissance to do. Commissions.
Yeah, do you know the approximate cost of one of those?
I think when we bought the one for behind Frisco, I think it was $600.
Okay, and then just your manpower to.
Yeah, and then we poured a pad. There wasn't a pad back there, so we poured a concrete pad, put the bolts in, and bolted it down. So
Okay. And you can obviously put them in parks, but if the school, you guys wouldn't touch that because it's not really yours anymore.
school
So-
district would have to put up their own bike racks.
Put it up. That's what I was just, yeah.
It's just an easy thing. You know, it could be a letter from us asking them to look at putting in bike racks or something.
Okay.
Right. So as far as moving forward, I mean, I don't know what's going to be appropriate for our next meeting. Is it to make some sort of recommendation to council that we, examine creating a bike lane on Lockwood from Rock Hill Road to Berry?
Yeah.
Next spring when it's possible to do that, those markings after the MSD work is done, and then also recommend Bompart from Lockwood
Lockwood
to
to Marshall.
Marshall, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's technically not. That's where it ends right now.
Right.
Right.
Because then the Greenway comes from Marshall and turns up Bompart to Pacific.
Gotcha. Okay. And then with respect to Edgar, would that require waiting till the resurfacing?
Yeah, I'd probably wait till we resurface it, and then we could do the Sharrows and share the road, even though John doesn't like those.
With Lockwood, obviously Rock Hill to Berry's the easiest. It's the widest
Right.
part.
Exactly.
But
Yeah, we're eliminating outside lane. So
after we get past Rock Hill, is it feasible to do that all the way to Big Bend if we're talking about Sharrows and signage instead?
yeah, I mean, like I said, I'll go out and measure and see how wide it is, if we'd be able to fit a bike lane in there to continue it to Big Bend. So, and when you get to Big Bend, then it changes the county. So,
Sure.
and I know the county's looking at doing bike lanes and other stuff. So,
Right. Are you aware? Has there been any? I mean, I don't know if this is even worth the trouble, but has anyone looked at how heavily used this is by bicyclists? I mean, you can't just throw the strip down and get a traffic count. Like,
No. Now you have to have somebody physically out there to count them.
okay, yeah, I guess it's just I'm just curious.
Who wants to do that?
Right. I mean, I see a lot of people biking Lockwood.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So, all right. So, and I guess we'll just put this, try to get this on the agenda for the
Yeah, I'll put it on for Monday's agenda.
Monday's agenda, and just it would be in the form of a formal recommendation to council to explore these recommendations.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it would probably go to a work session first.
Yeah.
So they can talk about it there, and then
Members and find out.
and they could probably just take action at the work session and not have to go to a formal council meeting to do it. So
Right. Okay. And so the costs, I know there were costs provided in the plan, but those are a decade old probably.
yeah, it was it was done in 2011 or something.
I don't see that being a barrier here. In terms
14.
of the distance we're talking about, especially in the bike lanes.
Yeah, I put a rough estimate together on how much thermoplastic material we would need, and it was between $40,000 and $50,000.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
The thermoplastic is not, it's a lot more expensive than the paint, but it lasts 5 times longer. So
Long-term investment. Better.
you put the thermoplastic down, you don't have to restripe it for 5 years.
Gotcha.
Paint, you have to do it at least once a year, if not twice a year.
Wow.
Is that quote for Lockwood between Rock Hill and Berry?
Yeah.
So that 40-50? Okay.
Yeah, that's for grinding off the existing striping, relaying it all out, and then restriping everything.
Okay.
So the material cost is the big thing, buying all the thermoplastic for it.
Okay. I'm guessing, that I'm just in the back of my head trying to figure out Bompart would seem roughly similar distance.
It might be a little shorter.
Okay.
I'm thinking maybe people can look at places where they think we should have bike racks just as a ongoing topic of conversation.
Right.
Nothing formal, just,
Yeah. we could, even parse it out among members of the commission. I'm sure if we live in different parts of Webster, think of a couple places to go look and check it out a couple, busy Saturdays and see, especially if there's a lack of places to park your bike, or if there's places that just lack bike racks that could use them, and then come back to that.
Okay.
All right. We kept it under half an hour. So, all right. Anything else? All right. Well, appreciate it, Todd. Thanks.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you so much for making time for us.
see you guys Monday afternoon then.
Great.
See you then.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.